Monsieur Hollart had been well served by the revolution. For the time being, at least, all theatres were free to put on whatever plays they chose, as long as they supported the revolution, made fun of the clergy, and mocked the greed of the aristocrats. Wisely, seeing which way the wind was blowing, Monsieur Hollart had renamed his small theatre the Theatre of Liberty. He now put on productions full of spectacular effects, filled with revolutionary zeal. Success had brought sobriety. He treated wine like medicine, doctoring himself with a certain amount each day and not one drop more. In times like these, a man needed his wits about him if he were to survive. This self-imposed regime suited him. He looked younger. He had thrown out his ill-fitting wig, and now, in the fashion of the moment, had the air of a man who didn't spend too long worrying at the mirror. His clothes were new, but not flashy. Like an actor, he had reinvented himself for his role as a man of the people. It was well over 3 years since Jacques Toppolin's body had been left sitting in his office chair, holding the sawn-off head of the wooden Pierrot. But it was a memory that continued to haunt Monsieur Hollart. So terrified was he of Kaliowski paying him another visit, that he had taken the precaution of promoting Didier from caretaker to bodyguard. This morning Monsieur Hollart was more jumpy than he had been in a long while. Last night among the audience, he could have sworn that he saw Kaliowski. But then again, he seemed to see the man waiting for him on every street corner. Jan stood in the Rue du Temple and wondered if this could possibly be the building he remembered. It no longer looked as if it was about to topple into the street, but stood upright and proud, with Théâtre de la Liberté painted large and bold across its front. A revolutionary flag was draped across its facade like a badge of honor. He walked round to the stage door and stepped inside, reassured to find that here at least little had changed. It smelt, as it had always done, of stale tobacco, wine, and slapstick makeup. He went up the wooden spiral staircase 2 steps at a time, smiling at the memory of a younger version of himself running up. He stopped at the door and knocked. "Come in," said a familiar voice. Jan entered to see Monsieur Hollart sitting at a desk piled high with manuscripts. The manager looked shocked. "How the hell were you allowed up?" he said angrily. "Where's that fool Didier? What do I employ him for?" "Don't you remember me?" interrupted Jan. "I'm sorry I don't." "I was Têtu's assistant. I worked with the magician, Toppolin." Monsieur Hollart stood up. "Jan Margosa. Is it possible? My word, yes. I can see it now. It is you." He laughed. "Your eyes should have told me. You always had the most extraordinary eyes." He seized Jan's hand. "Who'd have thought you'd turn out such a handsome fellow?" Jan smiled. "Who'd have thought to see you so sober and successful, Monsieur Hollart?" "The cure, ma son, is the revolution," said Monsieur Hollart proudly. "Never in all my life have I done so well." "I've come to see Têtu." "Hush," said the theatre manager nervously. "Walls have ears." Taking Jan by the arm, he whispered, "Come with me." Monsieur Hollart set off up the boulevard and led Jan into the streets that he knew so well. He walked at a brisk pace, checking behind and in front of him at every street corner to be sure that they were not being followed. "How is Têtu?" asked Jan. "He turned up the other day, just like that, as if nothing had happened." "What did happen?" asked Jan. "I've only just heard that he's still alive." "Didier found him bleeding to death in the courtyard of the Hôtel d'Angleterre and carried him back to the theatre. I wasn't even aware that Didier was living in the attic. He carried Têtu up there, removed the bullet, and nursed him back to health. There was Têtu, right under my nose, and I knew nothing." "Well, when did you find out?" "Like you, only recently. He left the theatre as soon as he was better and went to work in the provinces. More than that, I cannot tell you.